Morning and welcome back to the NAU Jazz Festival 2021. This is yet another of our master classes offered throughout the festival. We have a saxophone master class here, originally planned to be led by Dr. Jonathan Bergeron. Unfortunately, Dr. Bergeron's feeling a little under the weather, but thankfully it's for a good reason with our COVID vaccine round 2. So hopefully I'm not oversharing there, but wish Dr. Bergeron well and a speedy recovery. Here today we have most of the Jazz I saxophone section. And filling in for Dr. Bergeron is a recent graduate, graduated in 2020 and currently teaching at Pine Forest Charter School, Christian Cunningham. So let's give a warm welcome to Christian. We read some passages, some different topics from Christian, and then some passages from the Jazz I saxophone section. We have Chris Hover on Barry, Michael Hodges on tenor, Sarah Gonzalez on the alto, and Sarah Baker on the tenor. So please check out the rest of our masterclasses today. We have a bass masterclass with myself, Chris Benet, at 12, and a trombone masterclass at 1 o'clock with David Vining. We have a faculty conversation this afternoon with Blaise Carnati from the NAU School of Music and Rob Wallace from the NAU Honors College. That's a live Zoom session. Please find a link on the festival webpage. And then join us for the concert tonight at 7 p.m. with Jazz II and Jazz I and special guests. Thanks so much for being here with us and enjoy the masterclass. Thanks, Christian.
Thank you. Well, welcome once again to the NAU Jazz Festival. Really happy to be here and just talk about saxophone with you guys. While I'm primarily not a jazz saxophonist, I think Sigurd Roscher said it best when he said, "We are first musicians, then saxophonists, then I would add jazz and classical." So these exercises I'm going to show you today are going to build your saxophone tone quality and playing ability overall. So the first thing that we're going to talk about is voicing. So I'm actually going to have you guys play quite a bit. So we're going to do a little bit of voicing. Voicing exercises are essentially how the oral cavity is shaped. And the way your oral cavity is shaped will influence how you sound. So for example, I'm going to play with a really, really bad voicing. Doesn't sound good, right? Our voicing influences our tone quality. So I'm going to have you guys all whistle or hum, like Mary Had a Little Lamb. 1, 2, ready, go. Really good. So what was happening in your mouth when we were humming?
Open throat?
Yeah, your throat was moving around. What else? Your tongue was probably, your tongue position was moving up and down. That's the same thing with voicing, okay? Voicing exercises are going to help. Voicing is moving your tongue, your throat, all of those passages. So let's talk a little bit about how we develop our voicing. I'm going to talk about 3 exercises specifically. The first of which is overtones. So overtones are the pitches that are not really heard on specific notes, but actually exist. So every note you play, there's a large series of overtones above it. So think about trombones and trumpets. They have their fundamental pitch and then partials above it. Saxophones exist in the same way. So let me give you an example. Those are all overtones. If you noticed, I didn't change fingerings. It was all low B flat, and all of those were overtones above it. So let's start with Sarah. Can you play a couple overtones for us, starting on low B flat?
We'll see how this goes.
Go ahead. That's good.
Yeah.
So try playing C, D, E, and then sing F in your head. That's this one. And then sing F in your head. Now finger low B flat and try and get that overtone again. Pretty close, yeah. All right, Sarah, you're up. Let's hear some overtones. The more you practice it, the better you'll get at it. So the first kind of segue into getting overtones is the exercise I was doing with Sarah. So what I would have you do is play C, D, E on your saxophone. And then you would sing out loud F. And if you're a male, it would be falsetto voice you would use. And then I would try it again, but finger low B flat when you hit that F. So those are the first exercises I would use to start on overtones. Then I would do low B flat. Then the next overtone would be the octave above that. Then the F. Then the higher B flat. And then back down. And then you can do the same thing with B. And all the way up to D is where I would stop. So those are all really, really good overtone exercises that we can do. And when I see people play overtones, I often see two common mistakes. One, oftentimes people try and move their chin. That's not going to help. Voicing is how we get overtones, not pinching too much. And then when we practice overtones, a lot of people play their overtones really soft. The way to get better at overtones is playing them really, really loud. Something like this. And just keep going up and up. So that's how we develop our overtones and develop our tone quality, is getting those mastered. So that's the first exercise. Second exercise we're going to talk about are mouthpiece exercises. So I'm going to come over to the piano. If you play the alto sax, you're going to produce an A on your mouthpiece. If you play tenor, it's going to be G. If you play bari, let me double check my notes here. If you play bari, it's going to be D. And if you play soprano, it's going to be a C. So let's see how our saxophonists do here. So Sarah, you're going to be on G. Good. You're on A. So don't think about pinching too much. Relax your embouchure. Think pure. Try and moisten your beat. Yeah. Michael? Good. Now Chris. Very good. So that's the starting point. Then I like to play fun little exercises on it. You can go down to do Mary Had a Little Lamb again. And do stuff like that. So, let's see how our saxophonists do here. We'll start with you again, Sarah. And let's see how low you can use your voicing to adjust and bring it down. So start on G. That's about it. That's a good range. That perfect fourth. All right, Sarah, you want to try again?
Yeah, I should mention my ligature is broken, so that might be why it's not
That's okay.
sounding great.
Let's hear it. So you're on A.
Yeah, I think that's gonna cause some problems.
Okay, broken ligature.
Yep.
All right, Michael, you want to try it? Nice, very good. So you see that voicing helps them go that far down. Chris, you want to just go ahead? Yeah. All right, very good. So I often practice voicing that way. And we can go lower, but I'll start on C, and you can do basic vocal exercises on it. your voicing skills. So make sure you're doing long tones on that standard pitch that you're going to work on, as well as doing some of those exercises we looked at. So those are your mouthpiece exercises, which transition really well into pitch bending. So pitch bending is essentially doing the voicing exercises on your mouthpiece, but on a standard saxophone pitch. So for example, a good exercise I like to do is going from palm D down to G. So this range. So that's the range that we need to be able to do as saxophonists. So let's see some live action. Sarah, why don't you go ahead and try it? Palm D and voice down as low as you can. Try and get that G. Yeah. Sarah, you want to try? Play D, then G, then D again, and then voice it. Yeah, it sounds like you're really good at problems. Michael, why don't you go ahead and try? Yeah. Why don't we try this? Everybody finger D. We'll do D, C sharp, D. It's going to sound in fifths, but that's okay. So we'll do D, C sharp, D, and then pitch bend down to C sharp and back up. So I'll go first, and then you guys can go. Okay? Let's try it. 1, 2, and ready, go. Yeah, that was pretty good. Let's try it again. 1, 2, and ready, go. Very good. Let's try C now. So D, C, D. 1, 2, and ready, go. So the tendency for saxophonists is to try and go too low and use their jaw. This is only your tongue and your throat that you're working with. Let's try it again. 1, 2, and ready, go. Pretty good. You think we can go one lower? Let's try D, B, D. I overshot it a little bit, but that's okay. Let's try it. 1, 2, and ready, go. Pretty good. And you hear a lot of pitch bending in jazz. If you go up, you're going to pitch bend a little bit. So these exercises are really helpful. Now, all of these have the goal of developing tone quality, but it's also going to improve your altissimo. So altissimo is notes that are above the standard range of the saxophone. So excluding Barry, we're B flat to F sharp. Okay? Little Barrys sometimes have the A. But what about notes above F sharp? That's what the altissimo is. So I'll start on F sharp and go chromatically up and show you some altissimo. Like that's getting up higher and higher into the altissimo. So that is all developed through overtones and voicing. You're not going to be able to play it without overtones and voicing. So let's try a couple altissimo with our friends here. Do you guys know how to finger G? Okay, let's start with Sarah here.
Do you want me to start on G? Or
No, maybe do a scale up to it. So
Okay.
like.
Overshot.
Yeah, you're good. Okay.
It's like a 9 note minute.
No, you're good, Sarah. Okay, I really encourage you, if you're going to do an altissimo scale, use your front fingerings. So go D, front E, front F sharp, G. You know those fingerings?
I may have forgotten.
So
I didn't use them.
front E is like this.
Okay, so it's on.
So front E is your tier key, and then F you lift that up, and that was side B flat, side B flat, and then G. And then G is an easy transition. Try it. That's okay. Yeah. Chris, why don't you try that? Yeah, so there's some Barry Altissimo as well. So all these exercises are really, really going to be helpful in developing that tone quality. So let's look at a couple of excerpts from the stuff they're working on. So what do you want to start?
Let's do Speak No Evil.
All right. We're going to start with Speak No Evil. Let's start from the beginning.
Do we do the passage or what?
Where should we start?
Like 122? Yeah, 122 would be good.
Okay.
Everybody stuck up chronology.
Let's do 122. Okay. How fast do we go? One, two, ready, go. I would say more air than more articulation. So I like to think of it as you're throwing an extra dart. Just a little bit more air. Don't think more tongue, think more air. 122. 1, 2, and 1, 2. Ready, go. Especially when the Barry comes in on the lower notes in measure 124. That's really important to listen to him there. Let's start at 122, play that whole thing. 1, 2, and 1, 2, ready, go. Make sure you're not dragging there. Heard a wrong note, just make sure you mark that. And then in measure 122, 23, 24, 25, 26, let's make sure 122, 3, 4, 5. 125. It feels like you want to accent the downbeat a 4. Make sure you're really accenting and. So maybe back off a little bit on 4. Let's try that. Measure 122. 1, a 2, a 1, a 2. Ready, go. It felt like 138 when you came in on 4. It almost felt like an and.
Yeah, I came into it.
Okay, let's do 138. Actually, that's a horrible place to start. Let's do 130. Let's make sure we're not dragging through this section. 130. 1, 2, 1, 2. Ready, go. Measure 1.
Oh, he has changed that mezzo forte.
Okay.
To forte, yeah.
Okay, it still feels louder than the last section, and the last section's fortissimo.
Right.
So let's make fortissimo, fortissimo, and forte, forte. Chris, you're a little bit behind. Okay? Make sure that we're right in time. All right, let's do 130 again. 130 is fortissimo. 145, 432 is forte. So let's make that difference. 130, 1, a 2, a 1, 2, ready, go. Very good. So let's do the whole section now, 122, all the way through, and make sure we implement all those changes. Let's try it. 122, 1. And remember, this is mezzo forte. Did you guys change that?
No, that's still.
Okay, let's keep it a little less. We really want 130 to feel like an arrival. Okay, 122, 1, a 2, a 1, 2, a ready, and 1. I like to tell my students on a whole note, it's actually going to feel 4 plus 1. Because it's 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's when you stop. So feel 4 plus 1. Let's try 130. We'll just do that section to make sure everybody's ending and cutting off together. 1, 2, a 1, 2, ready, go. technique still a little bit difficult on your fingers?
It's not even a finger thing, it's more the
Is-
getting the tone out in the low, we're all in like the lower range of our
Okay, let's try it.
instruments, so.
Oh, yeah. All right. I'll give you 1, 2, and then go back. So 146, 1, and 2. Yep, this is right on 150. 1, 2. Okay. I would say ignore the mezzo piano a little bit. I would say push more air in the low register, because if you think about it, you're going from an E, from an F sharp to a B. So you're having to push air through more tubing on your instrument. So really think about pushing, and you have an accent on your C. So be careful not to accent the low B, but just push a little bit more air on the lower register. Let's try it. I'll do the same thing, 1, 2, and you're in. 1, 2. Let's try it again. Let's go da 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 da. Let's go a little slower. 1, 2. Again. 1, 2. Good. Let's play that tempo now. This is right, right? Okay. 1, 2. That was it. Very, very good. It was clean. So yeah, practicing it slow always will help. All right. Anything else in Speak No Evil? All right, let's do strike up the band. Strike up the band. Where's a good spot? This is quick.
So there's 33, we have like a, I can't remember.
Okay.
Yep, I have a good spot, 33 until like the end of 46.
All right, so it's half note is 120. So it's pretty quick. Cool. 33, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, there we go. Let's stop there. I want to hear more accent on measure 34, the and of big beat 2. So really hit that accent with some air. So you're really going to have to manipulate your air well in that moment. Okay? Let's try it. 33, 1, 2, 1, 2, there we go. When you have the quarter note and the eighth rest and then the eighth note, the eighth note and the quarter note sound like they're the same length. So can you make a little bit of distinction between the two? Sure. Yeah. So make the quarter note a little longer. I know it's supposed to be short, but maybe make it a little longer than an eighth note so it sounds like a quarter note. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay. Let's do 33 again. The accent sounded awesome. Keep it. 33. 1, 2, 1, 2. There you go. Great, that sounds really good. With your runs, can you make the motion feel like it's going to one? So, da 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 da, instead of do da 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 da, do da 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 da. Make sure it's leading to one, because all of these lead to one, because there's an accent on one, right? Da 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 da, do da 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 da. And maybe, since it's a sequencing pattern, get a little louder the second time. 33, 1, 2, 1, 2, there you go. Sorry, that's my fault. I was going too fast. 1, 2, ready and go. 133. I wasn't really convinced about the downbeats being one. Let's make sure we're really, really making it feel like we're going to one. 33, 1, 2, ready and go. So I measured 33, 34, 35, 36. Can we make that a little louder since it's a sequencing pattern? So 36, 37 will sequence that. Make it a little louder. One more time. You guys sound awesome. Very good job. 33, 1, 2, ready and go. We're still missing the accent on the C a little bit. You know what I mean?
36?
Yeah, this is 34, sorry.
Oh, 34.
So you were doing it right at the beginning, but we're adding so much that you may have forgotten it. And I'm still not convinced on the sequencing. Really, really make a difference there. 33, 1, 2, ready and go. Sequencing really, really brings out some really good stuff. Anything else you want to look at? And we
I got 33, 33. Yeah, for you guys. Or not 33, sorry. 132.
132?
Is that what you're saying?
So I feel like 132 is a full ensemble solo thing.
Okay.
She doesn't have it.
But yeah, go for it.
It goes until
Like
147 is
yeah.
like when it starts
Yeah,
splitting apart.
Yeah, I can see. All right, let's do 132. Okay. I can see why it's tricky.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Do we want to go slower or just try that tempo and see what happens?
We could try to
Yeah, we have to play it today.
because then we'll expose our problems if we
Okay.
go to books.
Cool, 132 then? 1, 2, ready and go. There's a lot of lead alto.
Yeah,
It's pretty,
too loud there.
maybe a little too loud. Maybe you two just play out a little bit more to support what you're doing. And then there's a couple spots, let's see, this is like 140 area where you guys start sequencing again. There's a couple times where the fingers were just not super even and clean. So make sure you're being self-conscious of and very picky as to how much you're swinging and where you're swinging if it's on the right notes. Okay? Let's do 132 again. 1, 2, 1, 2. Ready and go. What finger are you using, Sarah, for B flat? You're doing
Yeah,
this
this.
there? Okay. Okay, yeah. Oh, yeah. I have my phone right here. Thank you. Okay, and then tenor, 2 years. Oh, you're on B flats. So yeah, the B flats and the E flats are really going to be tricky. Let's start at, let's see, count back from 147, 146, 45, 44, 43, 42, 41, 40. We'll start on measure 140, and we're going to go a little slow. So, da, 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 da. 1, 2, ready, and go. Again. Ready, and 140. do 171. Okay, 171. 1, 2. Do you have me do the pickup?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll say 1, 2, down. Okay. 1 and 2. Really count. Bar pickup into 171. 1 and 2. Yeah, I'm still not convinced 172 is right on time. So I would put tick marks. Wait until you feel big beat 2. 1, 2, da, da. Right? Wait until you feel big beat 2. All right, pick up in 171. 1, 2. That again, my fault. 1, 2. 1, 2. Are you slurring that whole thing?
There's accents in every third beat.
Every third beat. Yeah. So can you put a little more emphasis on the accent? It sounds like you're slurring the whole thing. So maybe just put a firm articulation there. 2, 2, 2, 2. Pick up into 171. Ready, and go. Good. Do that again. Wasn't super clean. 78, 77, 76, 75, right?
Yeah.
Ready, and go. Go a little slower. Ready, and go. Fit your sound into his sound. Since he's going to be on, he's playing the hemiola for you. Ba, 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 right? So bring your part out and fit your accents into him. Ready, and go. See how it grooved a little better? Now tempo. Right? Ready, and go. See how it grooved a little better? It really fit in his sound really nicely. So let's do the whole thing. Pick up to 171. 1 and 2. Yeah, that was great. Awesome. All right, we have 1 minute. So is there anything else you want to look at before we close?
I think that's great.
All right, good. Well, thanks for tuning in. We're so glad you were able to make it. Have an awesome rest of your weekend.